Hello, hey, thanks for tuning in. A lot of people told me I should do an update and post this build onto YouTube, so that's the plan. Before I get any further, I'm just gonna kind of do a quick walk around and show you how it's coming along. All right, so this is a 1965 Mustang Fastback. It's actually an A coat, I believe. And so, story is I just got it from my old man. He had it for about 20 years. It used to be a drag car, had a narrowed rear end and tubbed out. And because of that, and the massive engine in it, there was a massive twist in the body, and I'll post a picture of that. Looking at this picture, compared the bottom of the windshield to the bottom of the rear glass. From there, you can see how much higher the driver's side is than the passenger side. You can kind of see it from now, where the rear shelf does not quite match up with the cowl. And so currently I'm just trying to work out that kink in it. Later I'll take it to a frame shop and have them fine tune it. I don't think I'm ever going to get that twist out of it, but definitely worth a shot to try. And so you can kind of see what we have going on here. I had torn out the entire floor pan. It was all rusted out, and obviously with the tubs and everything, and the frame rails were all pretty tweaked. And so what I did is from Dynacorn, ordered this floor pan from a convertible just to get the nice inner rockers and the stiffer chassis, since these things were kind of tin boxes. And so had it, man, it was kind of fun. You can see it got shipped on this metal frame, and I made this dolly out of some casters I had laying around and just a bunch of 2x4s. Rolled that under the Mustang as we got this A-frame, just a 2x6, lifted it up by the roof, and then we had a cherry picker up front to lift the front up and level it. I'll post a time lapse of how we kind of rolled the chassis under it and kind of beat it and pried on it to get it into place. But it came together pretty well. I was not expecting it to go in that nicely. I cut out all of my bracing as we got it in, and you can see I'm kind of still, it's not ideal, but I'm kind of working out the kink this way just to get the pinch welds all to line up. So right now I'm just going through making all the pinch welds line up. It's fantastic on this side. Right up front is fantastic, and then as I got here, that's where I started to have to kink it up a little bit. So that's the status as of now. Yeah, just sit back and admire the journey. So up to this point, I've been using my buddy's shop since he has quite a bit more space than I do, and not to mention the A-frame. So I loaded it up on my trailer and transported it about 5 hours home, where I'll finish working on it in my home garage. All right, so now that I am back in my home garage here, I thought I'd give you guys a walk around of just the state of the car and kind of some areas that I'm going to need to address. And so pretty much what I'm going to be using on this car is going to be the sail panel, the roof, A-pillars, in the cowl, and then potentially the rockers. I think they're salvageable, but we'll dive into that. So the next thing on the list to do is going to be to replace the front frame rails, aprons, and the shock towers. You can kind of see here that the frame rails don't look too bad. There's still some meat there, but as you start going in and looking, it's pretty rusty and they're in pretty bad shape. Beyond that, I mentioned that this was a drag car, so you can see guy had some angle iron on here that was, I'm assuming for whatever suspension setup he had on here. And then there is on the driver's side, there was a considerable tweak in the, I don't know that you can see it here, but there was a considerable tweak on the actual frame rail itself. So definitely need to be replacing those. But the overall cowl, I think, is savable. There's not anything really wrong with that. I can clean that up, and this isn't going to be a Conqueror's level restoration. I'm just kind of going to do a resto mod on it. So yeah, you can see here where the actual apron started to separate from the firewall, and that has been kind of an issue. Right down there, you can see it as well. But the cowl and firewall themselves are in pretty decent shape, so definitely going to save all of that. The aprons have to go, shock towers. You can see one of the funny things is that he just kind of beat this in with a hammer, I'm assuming to clearance for the headers that he had on this thing. So debating doing a coilover setup that would make this all the shock towers all flush with the aprons, but I don't know. I don't know if it's worth going down that rabbit hole. Might just do the normal, frame rails, solid frame rails, and then do the aprons in just OEM shock towers. Move down. You can see this is the worst rocker, the outer rocker here. There's some pinhole and some rust right here. That's the worst of it. You can kind of see right here. There's a dent and then some pinholes. So that's the worst of the two rockers. And that was because there was a pack rat in there. That just, he came in through the drain holes down here. If I can get a good shot of it. Don't mind my booger welds. But yeah, that drain hole right there came in through that drain hole. And just made his home over here, and the rest is history. The door jambs themselves look great. I've got the doors over there, and they, fit up nicely. Let's see. Yeah, this was so exciting how well this floor went in. I was pretty impressed with just kind of the fit and quality of it. Definitely a lot nicer than the stuff that came out of here. Oh, one of the annoying things is on this parcel shelf. The parcel shelf back there. You can see when the guy did the tubs, if I can zoom in there, when he did the tubs, he actually cut out the parcel shelf. And they don't sell just the, I could just drill out the spot welds and then put some new metal right there, but they don't sell just that piece. They sell the entire parcel shelf structure, and don't really want to do that. I think I'm just going to get some 18 gauge steel or something and graft it in there. I think that should be fine. Here's the back. I think it says Lisa over there on the right, but it's Charlie. Again, drag car. I really want to find a picture of how this thing looked when it was all done up. I think that would be really cool for it. But this rear deck is completely trashed. I have a new one of those. You can see that this is supposed to line up with those spot welds. It will. There was a lot of, when I got this floor pan in there, I think I mentioned that I was just trying to prioritize getting the pinch welds to line up. And so the pinch welds on both the driver and passenger line up really well. And then the back here, there is plenty of movement in here where I can either lift up on the actual frame itself or push down on the quarters, and I can get, and obviously it's pulling up on the frame, but I can get that to line up with those spot welds. Just haven't done that yet because I don't know what my plans are for the quarters or the rear deck mount here. So yeah, all in all, a fun project. Clearly a lot of work ahead of me. Thanks so much for following along. Sorry for my lack of video and audio editing skills. more than anything, just wanted to put this up so that I have a record for the progress that I've made. I think that might be cool. But if you're enjoying it, let me know, and I will continue posting updates here. The next video, I'll probably focus on what my plans are for the engine and drivetrain and all of that. So, thanks again. If you do have any questions, absolutely feel free to let me know, and I'll get those answered. Uh, but yeah, fun project. I think what I've taken away from this is if you are planning on doing the full floor pan, I would not do the piecemeal. I did have all of the different panels to do this as piecemeal status, but probably not worth it. I don't think you would ever get it to line up correctly, and then you're going to be at the frame shop, and even then, they're not going to be able to get it all lined up. So unless you have a jig or something, that would be helpful. But definitely go this route if you're planning on doing something similar. Thanks again. Take care.